Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina and today I'm going to be talking to you about what I've done to prepare for uni. I start in September and I've already sort of started to do things so that I'm ready for when I start. I already know that I've gotten into uni. I got my grades about a month ago, so I've started sort of preparing in advance for things. I'm a very overly organised person. I like to know as much as I can about what I'm going to be doing or where I'm going to be going. So these things are probably maybe a bit too much for some people, but I've listed them anyway, so if you want to do them, you're more than welcome to. They're all things that I definitely am doing, so let's get into the video. Tip number 1 is join as many Facebook groups, chats, conversations as you can. I've joined the freshers page and the halls page, as well as creating my own sort of Facebook chat for the mature students. As I'm 22, so I'm going to be a little bit older than every other student who starts. So I started a group of other mature students who are a similar age to me, who are more interested in exploring the city and doing things like that rather than going out and getting, making the most of freshers, as they say. Number 2, write a shopping list of everything you're going to need, and I mean everything. I have mine in numbers, so then I can list everything I want depending on the room, how much it's going to cost, then I have a sort of estimated total of how much it's going to be, and sort of it's a tick list as well. So then every time I've purchased something I can tick it off the list and it takes it off the final cost, then I know how much more I'm going to have to spend and what I've already bought and what I haven't. I'd maybe print a copy of this list off as well as everything else that you've got as well, so then when you do pack for uni you can just tick things off as you pack them away into the car, so then you make sure that you don't leave everything at home. I have recently written a list of all the films and books and DVDs and stuff that I'm going to take with me that I've already got in my room, so then I don't sort of end up 3 hours away in Brighton and without the things that I want the most and things that will probably make me feel better when I'm homesick, so that's an important one. Tip number 3 is to create some form of budget. So I've again created a numbers document for this on my Mac of all my incoming, so my student loans, my work, my scholarships and stuff like that. Then write another list of all your outgoings, the things that are you have to pay for, things that are, the price won't change and you're stuck paying for, so things like accommodation, car bills, insurance, stuff like that, things that just aren't going to change. They are what they are, you've got to pay for them. What's left after that you can divide into the amount of weeks you're going to be at uni, so then you know how much you have each week to spend on things like food and going out and just general sort of to spend on yourself, so then you don't end up in like March time without any money because you spent it all. You don't want to be in that situation. You might as well plan early. So then when you get there and you are enjoying Freshers Week and you are sort of making the most of that situation, you don't have to worry about creating a budget and how much you can spend and should spend and stuff like that. I'd also probably allow quite a bit of extra money for Freshers Week. For me personally, I probably won't be going out, so I probably won't be spending as much, but I know a lot of people do sort of tend to go out to clubs and bars and stuff like that during Freshers Week and sort of make the most of making new friends, so I'd definitely allow quite a bit more money for that week. Tip number 4, write down every module that you're going to be doing for all your subjects, and so you can look into them a bit more. So for my course I'm doing law, so on the website it says all the core modules that I'll be doing, so like contract law, criminal law, tort law, and so I've written them all down so that I know what I'm getting myself into and I can do some advanced research into them, so that when I go in September it's not going to be completely new and I sort of have an idea what it's going to be about. Tip number 5 is to find other like-minded people. I brought this up in a previous point about sort of joining Facebook groups and stuff, but try and find people who are sort of interested in the same things as you before you go to uni, so then when you get down there you're not completely on your own, you're not completely sort of lost and don't have any friends. As I said, I found a group with mature students in it, so I've got to know a few of them and a couple of them are into like cooking and YouTube and things like that, so I've already got a couple of people who I know I can talk to when I get down there who have got similar interests to me. Number 6 is hope for the best but prepare for the worst. I know a lot of people say to sort of keep things light, and that's probably a good idea. Don't take everything you've got in your room, but if there's something that you think you might need and you know that you won't be able to get anywhere else, or you know is very specific to you, I'd take it with you. So even though you may not need it, it's best to have it there than not have it there. And then if you don't need it, you can always bring it back. I'd also say to prepare for the beginning of term. You may be all like, it's fine, I'll do it when I'm there, I'll get it all sorted. But during Freshers Week, you'll probably sort of lose focus on what you should be doing and focus more on what you want to do. So it's probably best to get everything sorted beforehand. So all your stationery, all your paperwork, everything. So then when you get there, you're not sort of scrambling to try and find things with a hangover or something like that. Hope for the best, hope that it's going to be fine, everything's going to go fine, but be prepared for the worst. So bring medicine, bring your passport, bring everything, just in case something goes wrong. My tip number 7 is to look into societies and sports clubs before you go. If you go down there and go to Freshers Fairs, they're all going to be there, they're all going to be vying for your attention, they're all going to want you to join their group. So I would suggest looking in advance what sort of societies they've got going, what sort of groups they've got, what ones you want to join, and sort of look into how much time and money that's going to cost. Tip number 8 is to read as many books as you can. I've taken out so many books and bought so many sort of books that I've wanted to read for a while, because from what I can gather from other people, once the term starts, especially if you're doing a subject like me, like law, it's all going to be college reading, it's all going to be uni reading, so, and you're not going to want to read outside of it as much because it's just so much reading. The 9th thing I did was get all my paperwork together, so all my accommodation stuff, my student finance, passports, driving licence, grades, evidence, paperwork, stuff like that. Get that all organised and put into a folder in advance, so you don't leave anything behind, and again, you're prepared for when the term starts and when you actually get down there. Number 10 is buy UV pens. So I've heard a lot of rumours about things sort of going missing in uni and people borrowing things, and just borrowing things not so much of a problem, but taking things and not giving them back. So if you have things that are particularly important to you that you don't want to lose and you don't want to go missing, I would suggest getting a UV pen, a little bit like this one. I got these on eBay, they're a pack of 5 and I think they're about £4, something like that. So you just write something on there like your initials or your name that you sort of want to associate with you, so you know it's yours, such as, say, I write a K on there. Then you take a UV torch and shine it on there and it sort of shows up. I'm not sure if you can actually see that. So, yeah, you should be able to see that. So then you just do that on all your key items, maybe like your laptop, your phone, just important things that you've bought that you don't want to lose and don't want to go missing. So then at least there's some sort of link to you, so if it's found or you see someone with something like yours, you can just whip the torch out. It's just best to be prepared when you're at uni. I doubt it's going to happen, but you might as well. Tip number 11 is to watch YouTube videos, as many as you can, sort of uni hauls, what to expect when you go to uni, freshers videos, things like that. I've watched quite a few and I'd say they've helped me a lot to sort of feel a lot calmer about going to uni. I like knowing what's going to happen, as I've mentioned, so watching all the videos sort of gives me an idea of what to expect, especially videos for my specific uni. So there's a lot of sort of room tour videos and videos of people who've gone to the uni sort of showing you their experience, which is quite nice because it's sort of, you feel less alone because you know somebody else has done it and somebody else is going to do it, and you can sort of, you can visualise what it's going to be like. The 12th thing I did was find out about my uni room. Go onto the website of your university and look at the halls. They'll usually have sort of pictures of what each specific room's going to look like. I'm lucky that in my halls pretty much all the rooms look exactly the same. The only difference is going to be the colours. In some of them they're burgundy and in some of them they're teal, and I'm hoping that I will get the teal one because all my decor is copper and teal. So fingers crossed. If not, I'll just have to cover up the red bits with wallpaper or washi tape or something like that, just to sort of make sure it all matches. When looking at my room, I was able to sort of know what I needed to buy and how much I needed to buy things and where things were going to go, and I could sort of plan in advance what my room's going to be like. I'm not a huge fan of change and I do suffer a lot with anxiety. I'll need somewhere that is comfortable and that's homey for me to get back to, so then I don't feel so alone, and so I don't know how to explain it. I'm just going to need somewhere nice to go back to at the end of the day. So knowing in advance where I'm going to be going and where I can put things and stuff makes me feel a lot more comfortable. The 13th thing that I've done is learn how to cook and learn how to shop. I'm lucky that I've had a few more years on a lot of students that I've learned how to cook over the years anyway. But a big thing I definitely suggest doing is learning how to shop. A lot of people who are younger don't sort of do the food shopping for themselves. So when they go into the shop, they won't know sort of what to buy or how to control themselves. I'd maybe suggest going with your parents or just go into the shop, because you're going to be on a tight budget when you're at uni. So I would suggest sort of going in advance. If you are going to be doing the route where you actually are going into the shop, I'd sort of learn how to shop in advance, so then you know how to stick to a budget and what you can get for the money. If you're going to be shopping online, which is something I do suggest, I would again look at the sort of prices of things, because like a lot of the time you think things are going to be cheaper than they are, because you know, you don't really think about how much your mum is spending on washing up liquid or washing powder and stuff like that. You don't really think about it. So I'd look in advance how much things are going to cost, then you know what you can buy and what you can't buy. And yeah, I would learn to cook a few meals, a few just basic things like spaghetti bolognese, pasta bakes, stuff like that, just so then you're ready for when you go. You're going to probably get homesick and you're probably going to miss your mum's cooking, so maybe spend some time with her and get her to teach you how to cook the things that she cooks at home. So then when you are feeling homesick and you really want to go home, maybe you can just cook yourself a meal and it'll make you feel a little bit better. You can never really go wrong with learning how to cook the bog standard roast dinner, so might as well. The next thing I would suggest is to set up a bank account as soon as you can, so then you know what overdraft you're going to get and you know that you're ready for when you go to uni. Especially if the bank account's going to be different to the one you've put on student finance, you want to give them enough time to be able to change the bank details over, so then you will definitely get your student loan when September comes around. I would look around at banks. Some are good for sort of giving you freebies, some are good for overdrafts. It depends what sort of thing you want. I'm planning to go with Santander. They give you a 4-year rail card and a pretty good overdraft. I didn't want anything too big because I don't want the temptation to be there. Not that I imagine I'll ever hopefully have to go into it too much. It depends on whether you want the free things or if you want the bigger overdraft. I'd say Santander is a good balance between those two. But look around, see which one best suits you and your lifestyle. See if they've got a branch close to your university. Just look into it, see which ones are best for you. Number 15 is to probably spend time with the ones you love, be that family or friends, as you're not going to see as much of them when you go to uni. I know a lot of people do come home quite a lot, but I would suggest sort of spending some time with them. That's what I've done. I set aside a couple of days a week to spend with my mum. I'm her only child, so I think she's really going to miss me as much as I'm going to miss her, so the next few weeks are going to be nice to spend with her. The final tip I'm going to give you is to create some sort of academic dictionary. I've already started with mine. I've bought an introductory book to law and to studying law, and so there are a lot of terms in there that I didn't know that will come in handy when September comes around. So things like actus reus and mens rea and stuff like that, which is probably not going to make any sense to anyone who's not a law student. But just important key terms with definitions. Then when you do go in September, you're already a step ahead. You're already you know a few bits. So when a teacher mentions something that they'd assume you'd know, you at least know, or you've got it written down somewhere. And then as the year goes on, you can add key terms to this dictionary, which is going to help you a lot, I'd say, as the year goes on. So those are the things I have done to prepare for university. I am very excited and very nervous. I know there's still probably a lot more for me to do before September rolls around, but those are the things that I'd suggest pretty much everybody do if you can. So then when you do move, it's not a complete shock to the system. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other requests regarding anything to do with university or lifestyle, or maybe even some LGBT videos, just leave them in the comments below. I'll speak to you soon and have a nice day. Bye.